الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق ولا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. اعلموا أن الله يحيي الأرض بعد موتها قد بينا لكم الآيات لعلكم تعقلون. إن المصدقين والمصدقات وأقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا يضاعف لهم ولهم أجر كريم. والذين آمنوا بالله ورسله أولئك هم الصديقون والشهداء عند ربهم لهم أجرهم ونورهم. والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب الجحيم. In the beginning part of the Surah Al-Hadeed, Allah Ta'ala spoke about the people of true Iman, high Iman, that when they will reach the Sirat, they will have a certain nur that will go very, very far. It will light the entire way for them. Then Allah Ta'ala spoke about the hypocrites. They will be on their journey behind, but somewhere along the path their light will go off. They will beg the people in front to hold on. Those people will give the answer that you yourself will find some light. And if you lost it, why don't you go back to where you got it in the first? They will turn to go back. They will find there is no path. They will be told there is no more nur for you. Whatever you got, you got. They will look in front. They will see those. But between them there will be that barrier. On one side is the hypocrite. And on his side is nothing but adhab and punishment. On the other side is nothing but light and enjoyment. Allah Ta'ala now speaks to the normal believer. The normal believer means the believer who has good. His Iman is good. But together with that he has mixed it with a lot of evil. That in today's time is what is called our general trait. We are all perhaps of this group who Almighty Allah now speaks to. That after having heard what will be the condition of the people on that side of the wall, and what will be the condition of those on this side of the wall, everyone's heart would have said, I wish I could be on the right side. Almighty Allah then asked the question, so has the time not come for the believers? أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, that their hearts now submit to the message of Almighty Allah. And what has been revealed from Allah they accept. And they do not remain like those people who were the people of the book. But just because of so many years passing, they became normal. Deen and religion for them became a norm. It was like an inheritance in the house. They never worked for it, they never valued it. They never bothered if it came, they never bothered if it went. Allah Ta'ala said, O people of Iman, you should not be like that. At such a time it is normal that the man will look at himself and he says, I wish I could be good. But so many years have passed, and I am unable to stand. Almighty Allah immediately gives an answer, i'lamu, know very well that Allah is the one who gives life to the dead lands. Yuhyil arda ba'da mawtiha. So many lands are dead. It is only a little rain that brings it alive. Not only does it get its color, it starts giving life to other things. The grass and the plants and the vegetation that grows, that becomes the food for another world. A dead land becomes the food for the next generation. When the dead land can suffice for an entire era, then why can't a dead heart, after it allows a little of the rains from Almighty Allah to fall on it, will that heart not become a mujaddid of an era? For Almighty Allah, nothing is hard. Individual himself must look towards Allah. He must cry for jazb. He must say, Allah, pull me. Ulama would make this dua, Allahumma kun li waj'alni lak. Allah, you become mine and make me yours. Kun lana, become ours. وَجَعَلْنَا لَكَ, make us yours. A person will think how hard it is to be Allah's. But that dead land was dead. All it needed was a little rain, and for it to accept that rain. For me and you to accept, all it is a cry, and never to stop crying. How the rain brings the dead land alive. Almighty Allah made it, it is the tear that brings the dead heart alive. Innal musaddiqeen wal musaddiqat. After a cry to Almighty Allah, then a little effort. What is the effort? Previously Almighty Allah said the real spending is spending in the path of Allah. It is the spending of the mujahid. Almighty Allah says that if that is too hard, then no problem, just spend. Innal musaddiqeen, whether it is a man that is spending, or it is a woman that is spending, وَأَقْرَضُوا اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا, and when they spend in the path of Allah, when they help their family, when they help their friends, when they pull someone out of a debt, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala uses the word. This is a word of honor. You will find this word which comes for a hafiz, someone who memorized the entire Quran. It is now that the Quran will protect him. But in honor, Almighty Allah gave him the name which is the name of Allah, Al-Hafiz. You are the protector. When it comes to helping the deen of Allah, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala in Quran never said, who will help my deen? Allah Tabarak Ta'ala always attributed to himself, he said, who will help Allah? Whereas Allah does not need anyone's help. When it came to giving a loan, or spending in the path of Allah, helping out a Muslim brother or sister, someone is in some financial difficulty, that person says, will you give me a loan? Almighty Allah attributed the loan to His own Zat. Whereas Allah does not need the wealth of anyone in the world. Allah said, and the one who is ready to give a loan to Allah. That word, وَأَقْرَضُوا اللَّهِ. When the Jews heard this, they mocked at it. And they said, has Allah become poor? Has Allah become poor? That if He wants to, He will feed these people. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, their hands have become empty. This word is a word of honor. وَأَقْرَضُوا اللَّهِ. Who is there who will be ready to give a loan to Allah? قَرْضًا حَسَنًا. Qarad Hasan means when you give a loan to a friend, you act like you don't even remember the loan. When you see him, you smile in such a manner that your smile doesn't tell you when you're going to pay me back. That is called Qarad Hasan. There's no mention about this loan to anyone else. Almighty Allah says, and will you, and the one who gives a loan to Allah, Qardan Hasana, in the same manner. Beautiful is his loan. He doesn't look always at Allah and say, yesterday I gave 50 rand, when I'm getting my money back. Number two, he doesn't mention of it to others. He is thrilled about having given the loan. He is honored. This is called lillah to the highest level. That it is an honor for me to give for Allah. I don't wait for getting something back. I wait to be able to give. Almighty Allah says, that's all I'm asking for the weak believer. Be ready to spend. يُضَاعَفُ لَهُمْ. You will find Allah increasing. It will be doubled. It will be tripled. It will be multiplied many folds. It will go up to 70. It will go up to 700. وَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ كَرِيمٌ. That's just what I will give you in reward. For you in the year after is a most noble reward. The highest of the noble rewards is when Almighty Allah will expose His being in front of man. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرُسُلِهِ. Almighty Allah says, remember, those who believe in Allah and the messengers of Allah, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصِّدِّيقُونَ وَالشُّهَدَاءُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. They are really truthful by their Allah. They are the shuhada by Allah. Now hear this word. We have always heard the word shaheed to mean a martyr. And we have heard siddique to mean truthful. The highest level of siddique is that person whenever the truth comes in front of him, no matter how hard it is for him to accept it, he says, but this is the truth. His body becomes such that it becomes appealing for him. You will get certain people in the world, when they hear a new law, they don't become fed up and say, again another law. But as soon as they hear something, it's like a thrill. If my Allah wants this, then that's what it is. Ulama have mentioned their example is like a person who got some sweet meat. One is the one who takes medicine, he still takes it, but he doesn't enjoy it. And the one who takes a sweet meat, how his inside accepts it. How his tongue takes it in. They say one is called the siddique, who happily he takes Allah's command. And the other one is called a normal believer. That he says, what else can I do? Allah Ta'ala says, those who believe in Allah and the Nabi of Allah, just be happy about it. And you are already a siddique by Allah. Highest of the siddiqs was Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Highest of the women siddiqs was Aisha radiallahu anha. She was known as Siddiqa, the daughter of Siddiq. But then Allah left it open, that anyone can become a Siddiq. For me and you, it's such a high level this is. But now just think about it in this manner, that if that child has to take the medicine, then either the child is a child so he cries and he takes it, or the child understands that the medicine, even if it does not taste nice, there's no other way for me but it. When that child has reached that age of understanding, he doesn't need a mother to give him the medicine. He himself takes it, and because his mind is ready that this is my life, he takes it with a smile. This is called the level of Siddiq. That the commands of Allah is there whether we like it or not. That man who says, I'm not going to practice, he also knows tomorrow I have to answer. There is no way around Allah's command. I know I have to go for that salah. I know I have to take out that zakat. I know once in my life I have to make a hajj. I know when that pretty picture comes in front, I know I can't look. One is I say, how hard, and I don't look. Mubarak. And one is happily I say, why must I look? One is a siddiq, one is a normal person. Washuhada. Shaheed, the highest level of shaheed is what we all aspire for. A martyr in the path of Allah. Allah Ta'ala, however, left the word shaheed open. Shaheed means shahida. Someone who witnesses. What he witnesses? The truth came to him, he heard it, and now he goes and he passes it on. We call it da'wah ilallah, inviting someone. You can invite on a big scale, you can invite on a small scale. You don't have to be a pious person to invite. A siddiq needs happily you accept everything. That's harder. A shaheed means even if you are not practicing yourself, you pass on the message to somebody else. What they worry, what they fikr for him. What will normally happen after that? Either he will thank you and he will accept it, and you will become a witness on his behalf. Shaheed is shahid. Shahid means a witness. On the day of Qiyamah, Almighty Allah will say, where are the witnesses? They will ask, who is a witness? It will be said, the one who passed the message and he saw the result. Sometimes the person heard you and thanked you, and sometimes the person spat in your face. In both you will be a witness. You will stand and you will say, Allah, I gave him your message and he accepted. And you will say, Allah, I gave him your message and he spat. A high level shaheed will be able to say, Allah, I carried your message. And to take that message, I even had to go with a sword. I went into one land and they accepted. I went into one land and they slit my throat. That shaheed will stand up and say, here's my neck. I give witness for that group, I give witness against this group. To be a siddiq, if it's very hard, to be a shaheed is not hard. The highest level of shaheed is the martyr who died when giving the message. The lowest level of a shaheed is the one who gave the message. Everyone can give a message. All of us got a friend somewhere where we say to him that, isn't it time we submitted to the truth? He might himself say, what you got? So you will tell him, I'll forward you one message. I will forward you a translation of Quran. I will send you a book. Then he will thank you or he will sway. Whichever he does, you will be called a shaheed on the day of Qiyamah. You will be asked, did you give the message? You will say, Allah, I sent a message. You will be asked, what was the result? وَالشُّهَدَاء, and the siddiq inda rabbihim لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ وَنُورُهُمْ. For them Allah says, what a reward, وَنُورُهُمْ, and that light that was mentioned at the beginning, that has been set for them. Then Allah Tabarak Ta'ala now speaks to me and you. What is the only thing preventing us coming a shaheed or a siddique? Listen to this verse. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, "I'lamu," understand well, that there is only one thing stopping you. You're too busy. You are too busy in what? أَنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبُ وَلَهْوٌ. This world. Now when the man says, I just need my free time and then I'll become good, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, in this world, from day one till day last, there is no free time. إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبٌ. Remember, this world is, in the beginning, play. وَلَهْوٌ, then looking at somebody else playing. In the beginning, you playing, and after a while, you watch somebody else playing. In the beginning, you are playing games, later on, you see your children playing games. La'ibun, sometimes you want to play a match, sometimes you want to watch somebody else playing the match. Lahwun is to watch a game, la'ibun is to play the game. Playing and watching the game takes a part of man's life. And he always says, I'll reach an age where I'll grow out of it. But as soon as he reaches that age, wazinatun, now he is worried about everything being smart. If he got a car, it has to be a smart car. So either he's shining it or he's washing it. And it's part of life. So Almighty Allah is saying, you're not going to get that free time. Because you have to be doing it. Or you bought a house. But ask a person who bought a house, can you just move in? After buying the house, the work starts. Zina. You will have to do up the house. And every room that you're doing up, you're saying, once I finish, then I'm going to put my musalla and I will read my salah. That salah will not come. You will have to find Allah while you beautifying your life. Wazina. وَتَفَاخُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ. Then will come the time where there'll be a lot of competition. You will compete with your brothers and sisters. You will compete with your friends. In what will you be competing? In what will you be taking pride? It's a natural pride. وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ. How much of wealth can I earn now? One is, I'm getting so much. But man always wants, I must get a little more. Even if his desire is to spend in the path of Allah. But he wants to get. If he ever thinks it will stop, it's not going to stop. You will have to find Allah while you earning. وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. You got one child. The man said, I just need one child. He had lifted up his hand. He said, Allah, one child, one child, one child. As soon as that one child came, you busy playing with the child, looking at the child playing, and you busy trying for another child. وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. And it doesn't end. Your children just reach an age where you say, now I'm finished. And that child is getting married and the grandchild has entered. Now the man is saying, how many grandchildren? You know how much I got. But what it meant, grandchildren are going to keep you busy. If you think when I reach 55, 60, then I'll sit with my Quran, your grandchild will be in the house first. Your child will say, Daddy, I got work to do, you look after him. Now you think you're going to wait for him to get old. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, there's no time in life. This is the world. You will have to find Allah in it all. And then what an example is given. كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا ثُمَّ يَكُونُ حُطَامًا. Almighty Allah says, think about rain. When it comes, how happy the farmers become. They become happy with the vegetation. Then that vegetation, yahiju, it comes on its power. Sometimes when you drive past these farms, you will see it's now ready. It's on its prime, that's yahiju. But the next time you're driving past, you will see it yellow. فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. And the next time you go past, يَكُونُ حُطَامًا. It has been now chewed. It is now cut. It is called the dirt on the ground. What is that there? That is me and you. The rain came from Allah. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala set that rain in the form of His command, in the form of the waters of the mother and the father, and a child was born. أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ. Here the word kuffar means the farmer. The mother and the father, they are the farmers. And the child that comes is that nabat, that vegetation. The vegetation has pleased them so much. The child is one of the vegetables. That child has come out. Once upon a time, I was that vegetation. You were that vegetation. ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ. Then the vegetation comes on its power. It comes on its prime. Once upon a time, that vegetation, it was like the child, لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. It was playing and they were playing with it. But then it became on its prime. Now it's me and you, what we are today. Now we moving around. Now we of our power. But فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. A time will come when you will just go up the hill, and when you will come down and you look in the mirror, you will see yellow. You will see your teeth becoming yellow. You will see your cheeks becoming yellow. You will see that face which had that blush. Look, once upon a time no longer got that look. Now you are old. ثُمَّ يَكُونُ حُطَامًا. And the next time someone comes to visit, he will find like how that grass has been cut. Me and you have also been cut. We got our 4 stages. We are the vegetation. We will reach its prime. We are already in the prime. So stage 2 is finished. After prime, be ready to become yellow, and then we cut. 4 stages. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ شَدِيدٌ. Almighty Allah says, this is the world. And the next is the year after. And in the year after, if you never make it in this world, then you must know that there is terrible punishment. وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٌ. Or it's the mercy of Allah. If in this world you found Allah in everything, then there you will get what you're looking for. And in this world, if you never found, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Remember, this world is nothing but an open deception. سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Almighty Allah says, you heard what the world is. Why don't you run? It is an answer that someone will say, that if the world is an open deception, then how do I pull away from the deception? Like how many people say the fitan, the trial is too much. The answer is, think of Jannah. The answer is, the sabiqu ila maghfiratin min rabbikum means, start running to the mercy of Allah. وَجَنَّةٍ أَرْضُهَا كَأَرْضِ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To a paradise, you get the length, and then you get the breadth of something. And that's what we call the size. Almighty Allah says, the breadth of your paradise is like the breadth of the skies and the earth. How you will be able to work that out, whatever you want to, if you feel the earth is round, then you'll have to spread open the earth. So you got a earth which is huge, and then you bring the sky with it which is huge, and you put the two of it together, and that is called the breadth. Normally in the world, length many a time is always more than the breadth. Now you picture that whole thing, and then Allah Ta'ala says, this is one garden for you. This is one garden. And ulama have written, that is the size of that garden so big? The answer is, it's even bigger. But because the people of this world have never seen anything bigger than the skies and the earth. So it was told, take the skies, take the earth, put it together, make that the breadth of your paradise. That's your one garden. Now look at that garden. And when you look at that garden, and the world calls you, look at the maiden of that garden. And when you hear her, and the woman of this world calls you, look at the wealth of that garden. And then when the wealth of this world calls you, then the heart of that person, which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, this world and the next is like 2 wives. Co-wives can never coexist. If you make one very happy, you will have to make the other sad. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, now you will think who you will give preference. He gave a mashwara, he said, give preference to that which will remain forever over that which is going to come to an end. Meaning the 2 wives look at you and say, who you love more? And the one, she's already half dead. And the other one got a long life with you. Are you going to be so stupid to say you? She's gone. She's already gone. وَعِدَّتْ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرُسُلِهِ. Almighty Allah says, this is what I have prepared. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ. This is the grace of Allah. Everyone doesn't get it. Allah gives it to who He wishes. Wallahu dhul fadlil azim. May Allah Ta'ala make us all the recipients of paradise. Let's look at the verse once more. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala spoke about the strong believers. Allah spoke about the hypocrites. When that surah or picture was right in front, everyone's heart said, I want to be of the strong. Who doesn't want that light to be going over the sirat? Allah then asked the question, so O people of Iman, has the time not come that now you must submit? There were those bandits of the past, highway robbers. They robbed a lot, they killed a lot. You will think a highway robber can never change. Highway robber can never change. But Allah Tabarak Ta'ala got a time. The one highway robber just got pricked. Finish. And then his companions are telling him, what are you wasting time for? And he just told them, like, just leave me. He just lost the thrill of the world when he got one prick. And feeling that prick as he was walking, he heard one young boy reading. He never needed the most pious man in the world. He never needed the greatest qari. He heard one child reading this verse. Has the time now not come for the believers to submit? And he said, I submit. One sentence, he said, I submit, and his entire life changed. I submit. May Allah make it me and you also say in our hearts, we submit. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala then says, if you submit, then don't be worried. And don't ever think, how can you change? Look at how the highway robber changed. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, how does Allah give life to the dead land? It not only comes alive, it gives life to others. Then the land will say, or the person will say, but what must I do? Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, nothing hard. Spend little. Al-Musaddiqeen wal-Musaddiqat. Spend a little. And what will happen when you will spend? Allah will give back. Allah will give back wealth. Allah will give back tawfiq. One of the best ways, one person asked, what is the manner of jazb? Jazb means to be pulled to Almighty Allah. This ayat shows the method of jazb. That if you want Allah to pull you, spend. Because in this world, if you give a gift to someone, doesn't that man like you? If you go to a person and you got work, the second or the third time, he don't want to see you. He say, I'm busy. But go to him with a hadiyah. Even if he's busy, he'll find time for you. Why? Because man's nature is, you got something for me. But that man who puts in front, jazb takes place. Yudha'afu lahum. Allah says, I will open up more. Then Allah Tabarak Ta'ala introduces us to the two levels. One is the siddique, one is the shaheed. May Allah make us we become of both. Whatever message has reached us somehow or the other, no matter how weak we are, we pass it on. So that we will be asked on one day, what happened when you passed it on? We will have the honor of giving witness. وَجِئْنَا بِكَ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ شَهِيدًا. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be brought as a witness over all. The people of this ummah will be brought a witness over others. And then there will be the siddique who happily said the command of Allah. There's no running away for it, rather run towards it. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala then speaks to the believer that now you want to find Allah. So he might think, now I have to find free time. The next ayat says there's no free time. This world comes with play and its amusements and its beauties and its competitions, and then you're dead. Just like how the rain comes, you're the young vegetable, you are in your prime, you yellow and you gone. If you are saying, I'm waiting, there's no time to wait. You will have to find Allah in it. But remember, this world is a deception. The man will then say, but if it's a deception, how do I come out of the deception? The answer is, think of Jannah. Sabiqu ila maghfiratin min rabbikum wa Jannah. Put Jannah in front of you, and man, whenever he has to then make a decision, may Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make it. We are those people that they are always making then the right decision. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bless us all with Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala in this world give us the chance that every day to get closer and closer. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make us amongst those who spend. May Allah make us amongst the siddiqeen. May Allah make us amongst the shuhada. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.